Snow White. In a grand castle, there lived a girl with skin white as snow and hair dark as night. Her smile warmed every heart that met her. People whispered, "She is so kind, so lovely." Snow White's days bloomed like spring mornings. The queen, her stepmother, gazed at her mirror with cold eyes. She desired beauty more than kindness or love. "Who is the fairest of them all?" she asked each day, and the mirror always replied, "You are my queen." One morning, the mirror shimmered and spoke a new truth. Snow White is the fairest of them all. The queen's smile froze like cracked ice. Jealousy burned like fire in her heart. The queen called her huntsman to the dark hall. "Take her to the forest and never let her return." The man bowed, his eyes heavy with pity. The queen's smile curved like a blade. Deep in the whispering woods, the huntsman hesitated. "Run away, Snow White," he whispered softly. His knife trembled, but his heart stayed kind. Snow White ran into the forest with tears in her eyes. Branches brushed her face as she stumbled through shadows. Owls hooted, and the wind howled like a wolf. Her heart raced faster than her footsteps. At last, she saw a light between the trees. A tiny cottage stood quietly among the tall pines. Inside were 7 little chairs and 7 tiny beds. Snow White cleaned and cooked as if it were her home. Weary from her tears, she fell into deep sleep. At sunset, 7 dwarves returned from the mountain mines. They found the sleeping girl and gasped in wonder. "She is kind and gentle," said Mary, the jolliest one. The dwarfs welcomed her with laughter and song. Morning filled the cottage with music and warm light. Snow White cooked soup and swept the wooden floor. At night, they danced by the fire and told stories. Kindness became their home's sweetest song. Far away, the queen stood before her mirror once more. "Who is the fairest of them all?" she asked sharply. The mirror replied, "Snow White still shines brighter." The queen's rage cracked the silence of the room. She mixed dark potions under the pale moonlight. Smoke curled like snakes around her hands. The queen's face, twisted with hatred and envy. A single red apple gleamed on her table. The queen drank a potion and turned into an old peddler. Her back bent, her voice cracked like dry twigs. She packed the red apple into a basket, and with a wicked smile, she walked into the forest. Snow White opened the door to the kind old woman. "Would you like a taste, dear?" the woman asked sweetly. Snow White took a bite, and silence fell. The apple rolled away, bright and red against the floor. When the dwarfs came home, they cried out in sorrow. They laid her gently on a bed of forest flowers. Candles flickered beside her still face. The forest grew silent as if it were mourning too. They built a coffin of crystal clear glass. Inside, Snow White looked as if she were dreaming. Day and night, the dwarves kept watch with tears. Even the stars seemed to weep for her. One day, a prince passed through the forest. He saw the glass coffin shining among the trees. His heart ached with sudden love and sorrow. He knelt beside her and whispered her name. He kissed her gently, and the spell was broken. Snow White's eyes fluttered open like petals in spring. The dwarves gasped and wept with joy. The forest seemed to sing once more. Snow White embraced the dwarves, tears shining like dew. "Thank you, my dear friends," she whispered softly. The prince took her hand with a gentle smile. Together, they left for the castle beyond the hills. Bells rang, and music filled the bright hall. The prince and Snow White stood hand in hand. The dwarves watched from afar, smiling through tears. Happiness bloomed like sunlight over their kingdom. The queen's mirror cracked, its voice gone silent. In the castle, laughter replaced jealousy's echo. Snow White ruled with kindness and grace, and love kept her heart shining ever bright.
Thank you for watching.